Hey there. Dave Paulides, Canine Missing Project, copyrighted edition for our video channel. Welcome villagers, friends, trolls, enemies, communists. Yeah, we have some here. That's okay. I want to say that I appreciate you guys coming back again and listening to me talk about current events and missing people. And I have some interesting ones for you today. First of all, you guys all know that our cell phones that we walk around with work off of cell towers. And in the United States, we're going to get what's called 5G, which is a quantum leap, supposedly faster and better for data delivery on phones. Now, what you may not know is that the large percentage of all of the equipment related to 5G is made in China, made by one company in China. And just within the last month, Boeing and Airbus CEOs have asked President Biden to stall the rollout of 5G. And their quote is, "It adversely can affect airplanes to operate safely." So they want to limit 5G near airports. Why is that interesting? Well, I've been throughout the world, and the technology in the United States in general for most things is behind the times. Japan is far ahead of us, and many of the European countries are as well. And in China, they've had 5G rolled out for a long time. So I'm not quite sure where Airbus and Boeing are going with this. It's interesting that they say only around airports. Okay. Well, I also remember when the airplane said, oh yeah, don't use your phone while we're taking off or landing. But I have pilot friends that use their phone when they're behind the wheel of some of these big jets. And they said it doesn't affect anything. So I don't know what to say. I still don't use my phone when we're landing or taking off with it, as I want to be a good citizen. And I want to be a follower that does what they're told. So I won't do that. But interesting side note about 5G. I get asked a lot, what if the bodies that are found in locations that have been previously searched were replaced with copied genetics? Well, it's an interesting question. How would you ever know? Well, I think one way to tell the difference between an absolutely perfect genetic copy and your actual relative or friend could be some easy things. Scars, those won't show up in genetics. Their teeth, and that's one of the primary ways people are identified these days is through forensic dentistry. That won't show up in genetics, meaning fillings, orthodontics, stuff like that. And tattoos, broken bones, those things wouldn't show up on a genetic profile. So I think it could be pretty easily determined. And do I think this is happening? My gut tells me no, because of the number of times they use forensic dentistry and associated other identifiers that have nothing to do with genetics. Just my humble opinion on that one of the few times you'll hear my opinion. Somebody sent me an interesting quote. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And I looked that up, and it says a quote falsely attributed to Edmund Burke. Now, between the time I was young, out of college, and just had a child, to the time my child was out of college, I was on this, what I call a treadmill of life. and you're trying not to be distracted. You're trying to earn enough money to live in a nice house and put money away so you could give your kids a good education, and you're looking straight forward and you're trying not to be distracted. You don't want to find anything out there that's going to distract you. You're looking for your next paycheck. You're looking for your next extra job. I always had extra jobs. I always worked multiple jobs. And once I was a dad, I was always concerned about giving my kids a good jump on life. I never wanted to have them be in debt once they graduated. And that treadmill of life distracts you from what's going on around you. And for many years I was like that, out of necessity, really. And I didn't understand why people in their later years would be so infatuated with politics and the world. But now I know. Because our world right now is so messed up. And few people want to dip their toe in and do anything to help where it's needed. And I've seen a lot of people say, well, what do we do right now to right the ship? And some people say, well, you need to work on national politics. I don't agree. I think you need to work on local politics. And you know where? School boards. Go to your school board meetings. I don't even care if you have kids in those schools. You should go. Voice your concern. If you don't like the direction of things. And people say, oh yeah, but the FBI is going to get on you. And be polite. Have your spouse film the entire thing. Yeah, I would. It's okay to be vocal. It's okay to be demanding. It's not okay to disrupt the peace. Don't be violent, but state your piece. And make sure that the audience is with you. And if they aren't, I wouldn't care either. I'd go with it, say my piece. Don't be afraid of the FBI, especially if you film what you're doing. A few people have sent me emails saying, hey Dave, I need to talk to you personally. Well, have a policy in the office. We don't call anybody. And the reason being is that early on, unfortunately, I ran into some people that had issues. And it got out of hand, and then they were mad I didn't call them back. And if you have something to say to me, say it via email, and please don't try to contact me any other way. Just do the email, or I'll respond to that. And I've given it out. Don't try on any other emails you think might exist, because they probably don't. Can-Am, like Canadian American, Can-Am missing at yahoo.com or missing411 at yahoo.com. If you're trying some other way, you're not getting me. So those are the two ways. And don't be offended that I'm not calling anybody back. I don't call hardly anybody these days. I do a lot of texting. And anyhow, something really bothered me the other day. And it says to me how blatant and in your face some politicians are being these days. And they're not even trying to hide what's really going on. Senator Richard Blumenthal spoke at an awards event in Connecticut, and it was titled the People's World Committee Amistad Awards. And at that event, they recruited people to join the Communist Party. Blumenthal said he was there to, quote, honor the great tradition of activism. He later, after he took a lot of heat for attending this event, denied that he knew it was a communist event. Friends, let me tell you, the staffers that work for senators and congressmen, their number one job is to make sure that their boss isn't put in a compromising and embarrassing situation. I can guarantee you that Senator Blumenthal knew everything about that organization before he stepped in the door, because that's how thorough his staff is. He knew this was a communist event. He knew what he was speaking in front of. And you know what? He didn't care. And that is scary. When a sitting senator goes out and hands out awards at that event, that is really scary. When you couple that with a Chinese spy working for Senator Feinstein for 20 years, and you couple that with another Democratic legislator dating a spy, friends, this is scary. All three were communist related. How scary is that?